Good evening, everyone. We will call the meeting to order, and sorry we're 14 minutes late. Our special meeting that we had that commenced at 6:30 ran a little late. This is the regular meeting of Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers 260 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba. This 14th day of July 2020 at 7:14 p.m. Present, myself, Deputy Reeve Blosha, Councillors Foster, Gade, Pierrepont, and Kushniryk via telephone. The acting Chief Administrative Officer, James Webb, absent with prior written notice, Matt Wills. Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Blosha. Resolved that verbal notice of absence has been received from Councillor Matt Wills regarding his inability to attend the regular meeting of Council held on this 14th day of July 2020, and the same shall be accepted by the members of Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. All in favor? Councillor Kushniryk, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Blosha. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting and public hearing numbers 1 and 2 on June 23rd, 2020 of the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West shall be adopted as received. Are there any errors or omissions?
In the minutes for the regular meeting, number 8, the resolution doesn't have an amount in there, it's got a blank line.
Tabled, isn't it?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
okay. Which comes later. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and my memory isn't so great, but did I leave that meeting once or twice? Did we also discuss that in camera and I left? Or is that a different meeting I'm thinking of?
No, you left there and you
And I think I left the second time, didn't I?
No, not any. No, just that, just in tandem. No.
for sure then.
I kind of thought it came up again in camera when I stepped out the second time to.
Nope.
Okay.
Anything further? If not, all in favor? All in favor?
Tyler?
Yeah.
Tyler?
Yes.
Are you with us there? Thank you.
Here.
Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Pierrepont. Resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held this 14th day of July 2020 shall be adopted as presented. Any questions or comments there?
I'm curious what happened to our delegation, because it was one scheduled.
Cancel.
Okay. And on the in-camera, there's a few things there. I'm wondering if we could move out the paving, sidewalk, devices, and utility. Do those have to be in camera, or could some of those be coming out? So we have quotes in the package already.
Pardon me?
Well, we've got quotes and stuff, so it looked like we were just picking quotes. So they need to be in camera, or could those be coming out?
The award will be out.
Yeah,
They're
well,
awarded.
I thought we'd talk about those in camera.
It meets the requirements.
Yeah, I'm either way on that. I just thought we would be better to discuss the details. We had never had the opportunity to look at those.
So like, for it to qualify, I would have to prejudice us in some way, discuss it openly. So is there any discussion there that could somehow affect our ability to do them?
It would probably be making public information that the contractors who submitted bids would not necessarily want made public.
Not a reason for the camera.
Well,
Because the moment we vote on that resolution, it's public anyway. So if we're voting on a resolution 5 minutes after the camera,
the discussion is not allowed to be divulged in camera.
As soon as it's discussed in an open meeting, it is.
Pardon?
As soon as it's discussed in an open meeting, it is.
If you rediscuss it in an open meeting, but if you simply pass a resolution awarding a contract, it does not open up the discussion. Well, that's where legal minds and yours are coming in
So it was
conflict.
actually said specifically when they were here, that discussing it means passing a resolution. So as soon as you pass the resolution, you've discussed it in an open meeting.
Well, what is said in camera does not become, no.
It does.
That's not how she said it when she was here. She said there's certain parts that could be.
All of the information, if you read
No.
the act. It's worth reading. You should check that section
Well,
out.
until
You know,
we
you
get a
think we
ruling
don't.
on it, let's just leave it as.
Are we really gonna spend $1 million getting a ruling on that?
Sure, let's do it.
Well, I'm just saying, if that's where we're going. If we're gonna keep fighting over that, it's gonna end up costing taxpayers $1 million for a ruling.
There's no.
Now you're setting the amount of money that the municipality is gonna spend, or that
I'm
you're
guessing,
prepared to
yeah.
spend?
You're making assumptions.
Well, you're making statements of fact, not assumptions.
So we're going to go with what's presented, I think, at this time.
Trust your judgment.
All in favor? Opposed?
Tyler?
Yeah, he was.
No, I don't oppose it.
Okay.
Okay, number 4, there is no public works report, no delegations, petitions.
Excuse me.
So, 7.1.
7.2, sign.
3-4 meeting. This is for your perusal, your reading pleasure. Oh,
No, they can have a copy of it.
okay, I got one in here.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Okay, we'll move to 7.2, the police report. Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Blosha, resolved that the RCMP report for April 1st, June 30th, 2020 shall be received by the council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Any questions or comments on that report? If not, all in favor? I can't see your hand, Councillor Kushniryk. You'll have to verbalize your support or otherwise.
Yeah, yes,
Thank you. That is carried.
CT scanner. That's just the resolutions that they passed. So we have a buffet of choices.
Oh, only one to be.
I guess they passed all 3 of them. So it says our council passed 3 resolutions last night with respect to CT scanner purchase. They decided not to not use the original resolution I sent last week. Here are the 3 resolutions we were passing. Are hoping that the discussion regarding the setup of the fund for the next G5 meeting. So they would like us to look at that.
Well, you know, this, I think, requires a little bit more time and consideration and thought given to, especially this last one here that I'm seeing, where it lines up saying, therefore be it resolved that the Municipality of Swan Valley West agrees to contribute its proportionate share towards any shortfall. That is kind of like buying a pig in a poke, as the saying goes. I think we can support it in principle. And until numbers are firmed up, I would really question whether there should be a resolution passed without knowing the actual ramifications to the municipality. Whereas I agree that obviously the addition of medical equipment, in this case being a CT scanner, to the valley would be beneficial for patients who would require that diagnostic test. What worries me is that we are, as a municipality and as a valley, taking on a responsibility of the provincial government, and that's the provision of health care. We have, to our benefit, to date, contributed a lot of money collectively to the physician recruitment fund, and there has been success in recruiting physicians, but even that is not within our mandate to expend land-based tax money for the provision of health care. So that was set up and it has worked, and in principle, as I say, I entirely agree with having diagnostic equipment here, provided the province undertakes to staff it and to keep to pay the maintenance and repair and upkeep on it. Otherwise, we are signing ourselves over to an unknown cost, and that concerns me greatly. We have passed a resolution previously in full support of purchasing a CT scanner, have we not? Or in principle?
It would have had to be quite some time ago. So it's nothing new since I joined.
And
I don't think we've discussed.
We've just talked about it and more or less
we've-
agreed about it?
Yeah,
We haven't passed
agreed
any?
support on it, but we've never
think-
agreed.
Yeah, support, I think.
It says in this first resolution, and whereas all municipalities of the Swan Valley are in support of purchasing such CT scanners, so we must have indicated
Well,
somehow.
maybe, yeah,
Well, that wasn't the meeting, it's a G4 meeting. That was where that support was indicated, I think.
And then an early meeting as well, I think, but.
But I don't think there's been a resolution.
And I've always brought it, talked to you about it.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
lots about it.
We've agreed that it's
Never passed.
good, but we've never passed.
And we've never put a number forward.
No,
That
it's the
number
first
came
time
from
there's
G4.
numbers.
Yeah.
The first resolution, I will read. It's generic enough. There has been agreement, albeit without a resolution, as was pointed out at a G meeting, G4 meeting. And this one goes like so, whereas the purchase of a CT scanner to be used at the Swan Valley Health Center would benefit all residents of the Swan River Valley. Excuse me. And whereas all municipalities of Swan Valley are in support of purchasing such CT scanner, and whereas a proposal has been put forward to the province of Manitoba to see that a CT scanner be purchased for the Swan River Valley, and one of the principles outlined in the proposal was that the capital costs of the CT scanner would come from the Swan River Valley. And whereas it has been reiterated many times by our local physicians that a CT scanner will contribute greatly to our ability to retain existing and recruit new physicians, the municipality of Swan Valley West hereby agrees to use $600,000 from the G7 Physician Retention and Recruitment Program towards the purchase of a CT scanner. Do we have a mover for that? Councillor Gade. Seconder? Councillor Blosha. Comment?
That's more than half. I see somebody had said they only wanted to use half. But that's gonna keep the physicians we have here, I believe. So that's why I agree with the number. In my,
Okay, we do have a second resolution that has a lesser amount in it, so
It's
we
a
can,
different place though, the second resolution.
the second resolution is asking from the, to take the health facilities, which is not our decision.
right on.
This, not this council's decision. We're saying that we're asking them for it,
Yeah.
but it's not up to us to take that.
Well, there's a health foundation and there's a community fundraiser for 400.
Yeah, there's,
Any comments?
I think this first resolution is a no-brainer. Using that money for the CT scanner, I agree with the 600,000. I think it makes sense. Over time, that'll be replenished. And it's probably the best bang for our buck right now for not only recruiting physicians, but we have to stop people from dying. I have had enough of people that could have had treatment here not being able to get treatment and not getting it in time because they had to go to a different community. If we put that here and we have a stroke victim, we can treat that stroke victim in this valley. And that is important.
Well, and it still leaves money in there.
It doesn't
That
have to
is,
be those.
they're not emptying it like they wanted to start with.
well, we cannot empty it out. We need
No, I know we
to be
can't.
constantly recruiting.
We still
But we
need
need to
recruitment.
keep our recruited doctors here.
Yes.
And that's a very important thing.
And this is a step that might lead eventually to a surgeon.
Well,
Exactly.
this is step
comfortable with
one
CT scanner.
to, they said they won't, Dr. Burnside said they will not get a surgeon here if they do not
Exactly.
have the facilities to have one here to operate properly, so.
With no surgeon, that means no maternity.
Well, that's the thing, that's, it's
And
step
we
one
need
in
that, we need that back.
in a step process, and that's,
Yeah.
And that in and of itself, I don't think will guarantee maternity.
No, I get.
No, it
I know.
won't, but it's-
I'm like maybe a step forward. I don't know.
Any other comments or questions? Not? You ready for the question? All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried. Okay, we will read the second resolution. Number 2, request to Health Services Foundation, Facilities Foundation. Whereas the purchase of a CT scanner to be used at the Swan Valley Health Center would benefit all residents of the Swan River Valley. And whereas all municipalities of the Swan River Valley are in support of purchasing such CT scanner. And whereas a proposal has been put forward to the province of Manitoba to see that a CT scanner be purchased for the Swan River Valley, and one of the principles outlined in the proposal was that the capital costs of the CT scanner would come from the Swan River Valley. And whereas it has been reiterated many times by our local physicians that a CT scanner will contribute greatly to our ability to retain existing and recruited new physicians. Therefore be it resolved that the municipality of Swan Valley West, along with the other municipalities of Swan Valley, to jointly submit a request to the Swan Valley Health Facilities Foundation. This request being a contribution be made by the foundation towards the capital costs of the CT scanner in the amount of $300,000. The mover, Councillor Gade, seconder. Any discussion, comments, questions? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Kind of a delay there. That is carried. The third resolution, proportionate share. Whereas the purchase of a CT scanner to be used at the Swan Valley Health Center would benefit all residents of the Swan River Valley, and whereas all municipalities of the Swan River Valley are in support of purchasing such CT scanner, and whereas a proposal has been put forward to the province of Manitoba to see that a CT scanner be purchased for the Swan River Valley, and one of the principles outlined in the proposal was that the capital costs of the CT scanner would come from the Swan River Valley. And whereas it has been reiterated many times by our local physicians that a CT scanner will contribute greatly to our ability to retain existing and recruited new physicians, and whereas it is proposed that funding for this endeavor shall come from a variety of sources, including the G7 Medical Recruitment and Retention Fund, $600,000, the Health Facilities Foundation, $300,000, as well as community fundraising, $400,000. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipality of Swan Valley West agrees to contribute its proportionate share towards any shortfall. Shares of any shortfall amount shall be determined using the 2016 census. We have mover. Councillor Gade. Seconder. Do we have a seconder?
So
I'd like to see numbers.
Yeah, this is a little. This one here.
We need a seconder before we can discuss it. Councillor Pierrepont.
We can always table it after.
Okay. Comments, questions?
So I'll take a stab at it first. My belief is that the community fundraising is going to work well for this. I think between the service clubs that have an interest in this, they will be able to raise the $400,000. The total value here of 1.3 million is what is expected to be needed from the valley. My understanding is that's the discussion that's going on behind the scenes, but that's a pretty solid number. The risk we run with this is if that 400,000 falls short. If those community groups conceivably could come up with $0. So this would risk us our share of the $400,000 to finish the project off. I don't believe we'll end up paying that to it. However, we have to, I think, look at it as a possibility we may be called to pay our share of that $400,000 in the worst case. So my argument is based on that if someone came to this table tonight and offered that we could have a CT scanner for a proportionate share of $400,000, I cannot think of one reason I would vote against that. We need a CT scanner in this valley. Someone's going to have to pay for it, and unfortunately the provincial government isn't. I completely agree with Reeve Galloway. This is theirs to pay for. This is downloading to the municipalities again, something that shouldn't have been. But the reality is, the choice isn't whether or not the province will pay for it or we will pay for it. The choice is whether or not we will have a CT scanner. And if we want a CT scanner, unfortunately the province is refusing to pay for it. So the only option we have is to decide, will we pay for it or will we not? Given the current climate of government spending and investing in capital works, there's a very good likelihood this project could see the light of day very, very, very soon, should all of our municipalities agree to this. And I don't want us to stand in the way of slowing that down and miss an opportunity for the province to get it done. There is a provincial commitment here that's not showing on this paper, which is the renovations of the building and such. So they are putting some money in.
They
not
have
enough.
committed to that because they wouldn't before.
There'll be no agreement unless they commit to that, because the cost of doing that is beyond our means.
Another 250,
Exactly.
300.
Well, it could be far more.
That's just, base estimate to start with.
The discussion of G4 that I was in favor with there was spending this money and spending no more. So the installation, whatever they do, the running of it, they also look after. I'll be sure Health Manitoba will look after that. And from what I understand from talking to people, that is likely as a deal, and if that wasn't the deal, it would be coming back because we can't afford to do it the other way. So I'm in favor of doing this. I don't believe it's going to cost us much. I think there are enough community-minded people in this valley that will put money into this that we might be talking about cost sharing $50,000 or $100,000, but there's a likelihood of cost sharing zero. Because there'll be enough fundraising for this, because the community wants it.
I'd just like to see the cost sharing formula before it comes to, I'm all in agreement, I believe we need it, but
Is it gonna go in assessment? or-
Well, it's 2016 census, it has that in there, so it's based
Yeah,
on.
No,
Per capita,
Per capita.
Census.
which is easy to figure.
yeah,
Yeah, it's by person, not by assessment. So our share, what would it be, James, 30–40% of the valley?
I don't have those numbers.
Is it by capita or we're a little less?
we're, yeah, about 35, somewhere in there, 33.
So we're running the risk here of up to $120,000.
Well, there is no given guarantee that the Facilities Foundation will put in the 300 either, so you
Right.
should be aware of that.
so if that, oh, yeah.
Well, if that falls through, then it would come back.
Then that has to come back for discussion, that's not.
So what are you saying? Pass the first two?
I think, well, are we talking considering passing the third one or not? Because I would like to just pass the third one and let them get the process of finding a CT scanner get underway.
That's the only change I'd like to see is it's got the 2016 census and I
Just put it per capita.
put it based on per capita. Just so there's no argument.
Well, I think that would be fair. I'm in favor of
That's-
modifying the
Well,
resolution.
the census means.
Means.
I know, but
Population.
Yeah, I know, but just for extra clarity, if we put two words in and it makes sure we can't discuss it later, why not put the two words in?
But Bill's saying too there, if the 300,000 doesn't come in,
Well,
we're not
that's,
agreeing to that though.
but then,
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
yeah.
Well, it does say the shortfall, right?
Yeah, anything short of the 6.
So we could be,
Of any shares of any shortfall amount. Like I say, it's leaving you very unprotected, putting it nicely.
I have such a hard time when someone comes up to me and tells me about a person that would be with us today if we had this equipment.
It's that way everywhere. It's not just here.
I know, but we have an opportunity here to solve that
And
problem.
I'm not arguing that, but it's, I mean, like Reeve Galloway said,
yeah.
they start piling on, you agree to one thing and that one thing could turn into more than,
What if we added up to 400,000 in that line? So we limited it to that, and it had to come back to us if we
or,
wanted that.
or yeah, just as
So we
like
sort of
per
put-
capita for community fundraising, nothing, like not the health facilities part, like
Sure,
Yeah.
so
I can almost
shortfall
guarantee
community
you,
fundraising or something.
guarantee what.
I can almost guarantee you that the Health Foundation would probably, the Health Facilities Foundation,
I don't see why not, but
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, I cannot see why not is right. But
but I'm saying if they don't, we go from 120 to 200.
I understand.
Yeah.
Would it have any effect if this is passed in its present form and individuals obviously are able to access our meetings and the resolutions? Would that have a negative effect on fundraising by the groups? With people saying, well, if they're gonna pay for it, why should we donate?
Well, I know the Lions want to be
I
in
know
on it,
there's
I
some
know,
pretty motivated people to get it here.
yeah.
The only concern right now is it being, with everything that's going on, it's pretty hard to fundraise. I mean, the Kinsman group, the Bozeman Lions, Mennonite, the Lions group is a huge contributor. They've lost all their fundraising since February. I mean, they lost the Billy Beal, they've lost a couple other things, they've lost, Bozeman Lions had in there with the food booths at the fair, like, that's a big
Yeah,
loss to the community as to what those can contribute. I mean, I know it's not gonna happen tomorrow, but favor of supporting the 400, no problem, but
Yeah, we have to.
Well, I would really suggest we just change the resolution slightly to address the fact that, you know, somewhere in this last line, shares of a shortfall up to 400,000. And then if the Health Foundation doesn't come through for the 300,000, it has to
Then
come
it'll
back
have
here,
to
and we'll have to
be
be discussing
somehow,
it some
yeah.
more. Because we didn't give a blank check, we gave a check. with
well,
the
that's
top
the thing.
end.
I just to me that's like writing a blank check without.
Mhm.
Yeah, doubles pretty well.
Well, it could be a proportion of the Health Foundation and community fundraising towards the.
Well, it's still. I mean, as
So
long as
it's-
it doesn't exceed that number, that's.
Not saying that the Health Foundation's gotta do the 300, it could be a
Just up to
combination.
400
Yes.
then. Yeah,
That's
the
another
400.
$125,000, so at 35%.
No, I know. That's what I mean. Like, but if you leave it open like this, it could put you at risk for 200,000 if you got to pick up on another 300. Now you got 700, and a third of that's.
Nowhere in here either does it address the ongoing maintenance and upkeep of that CT scanner.
What was presented at G4 is the agreement is Shared Health looks after it once it's here.
And that's that other one we're looking at setting up. I think they're gonna have the doctor recruitment plus then they want to add a shared health.
No, what I was getting out of that was that, like, that was Mountain making a suggestion. And it looked like what they were saying was instead of us just having a resolution, that eventually we would sign an agreement to the 400,000. So that no one could just be sitting the resolution and say, oh, we changed our mind about it. So eventually an agreement would be signed between the councils.
Yeah, healthcare expansion, they want the new fund to be.
Yeah. Basically, just so that we're tied to it by a signed agreement instead of just by resolution. But I don't think that's something that has to happen now. That's something
Well, it's
they have to find
also,
support for from everybody.
it gets away from the doctor recruitment fund where it's labeled for doctor recruitment. This would be a new fund that's designed for any existing stuff for expansion.
So you'd like to make an amendment then?
I would,
Yes.
and somehow just put in there, and I'm not sure of the exact language, could you just contribute up to 400,000 as proportionate share? No, it wouldn't be up,
No.
because that would
That would
be
be
35%. No, we need to do that different, so it's only.
Resolved
share
that the
of
municipality of Swan Valley West agrees to contribute its proportionate share towards any shortfall not exceeding $400,000.
I think so, I think that's clear
That
enough.
should be good, yeah. See, I'm just going off the other numbers. When you go by the town stuff, the town is usually 40, somewhere in there, and we're like 30, give or take 32, 33, and then Mountain's about 8 or 10, and Manitoba's is
Their share of the
17.
400, yeah, right?
Pardon?
Their share of the 400.
No, that's any shortfall.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, it talks about our proportionate share. You have to initial this.
The bottom, that should fit here.
No, initial it where I made the change.
The last paragraph there.
Oh, yeah. The same line. I just can't see that.
Okay, the last paragraph has been amended to read, therefore be it resolved that the municipality of Swan Valley West agrees to contribute its proportionate share towards any shortfall not exceeding $400,000. Shares of any shortfall amount shall be determined using the 2016 census. Further comment or question? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried.
Doctor recruitment. Pass this down to.
Sure. This doctor recruit, this one?
Oh, this one?
So this one we're gonna have to discuss. We don't know the numbers on that one.
No, and we won't, so this will have to wait, yeah.
That's the second one. That's the one right there. Yeah.
Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Blosha, whereas the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby agree that the recruitment of medical professionals is vital to the future of the Swan River Valley and its residents. And whereas despite provincial responsibilities for the provision of health care, there is a need to continue making contributions toward the recruitment of doctors and other medical professionals in order to provide proper health care to local residents. Therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby agree to the following. A per capita levy of up to $16 for the next 3 years. That's 2020, 2021, and 2022. A portion of the municipal levy to be used for payment of a part-time employee to devote his or her time to recruit doctors and other medical professionals for the Swan Valley. Be it further resolved that we do hereby agree to move forward with the development of a job description, a budget proposal, and the hiring of an individual to work on recruiting medical professionals for the Swan River Valley as a continuation of the program originally established by Swan Valley Rise and the Medical Services Committee. Questions or comments?
To do.
Not all in favor? That is carried.
This is the Rise one. Here it is.
Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Gade, resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West approves the second payment of the 2019 levy.
This is what was, we were
This is-
confused by this also.
Yeah.
Why-
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
We didn't pay the second one. If you
Yeah, but
look,
we
weren't
paid,
supposed to-
we paid the whole payment that we were supposed to the first time. This is our whole payment for 2019. It's on there.
I don't think we were supposed to pay them anymore for 2019.
No.
No,
No, we
no,
weren't.
we better take
That's
that
why
one
I
out.
couldn't,
No.
James, this is our whole payment that we agreed
I
for
thought maybe that
2019.
was for this year. like
Different for
Carrie.
2020.
Because like they sent us an invoice for a bigger amount, and we agreed to pay basically half. It was just a
Yeah.
couple dollars of half.
Well, we agreed to pay what we had paid the previous year.
Yeah.
It was about
About
half,
half,
right? It was-
yeah.
It was close to half
That's
of the
what
invoice.
this-
And then Rise went back and rejigged their budget and fixed it all, so they refunded other people on that share that we had paid. So I really don't think we should be paying.
They sent another
No, I
letter
don't think we
asking
should
for
be
more.
passing
I asked for
We turned it down.
clarification from Rise and they didn't get back to me.
No.
And this was sitting, not on the books, but it was sitting in the file.
Yeah, no, it did come
And so
again
I-
and we turned it down at a
Good.
different meeting.
I believe we
That's
were fully
wonderful.
paid for
Yeah,
2019.
honestly,
So then this is,
just chuck it.
Don't send
Yeah,
anybody.
you haven't made a check.
no, no, we haven't. But so this here is defeated, is
Yeah.
voted against, so.
Well,
Whatever, we can
call
just
it-
scrap it, yeah.
Good, read the resolution. All in favor? Opposed? Opposed?
Tyler?
Poke, poke.
No, in favor.
Okay.
You're in favor? Did you say?
Yes, in favor.
He didn't
I don't think
understand. He
he
didn't
understood.
understand.
I don't think you heard the whole conversation, Councillor Kushniryk. This is a second payment. We're duplicating the first payment, which satisfied the request.
Right.
It's a payment we've already paid.
So are you still in favor of making a second payment, or are you opposed to it?
So we paid it in full already, or
Yes.
why are we
Yes.
paying this again?
We have paid it in full already. Members present here voted against it. They are opposed to it.
Oh, okay. No, I agree. If we vote so then we won't pay a second time.
Okay, thank you.
You're making good for camera.
Resolution fails.
Library. How come it's in 2 installments?
What?
Oops.
Because it's so high. It's just.
This is just the dates for Board of Revision,
Okay.
so that's more for information.
They
We
always
need a
little bit of
resolution
money
for
to keep
that?
No,
operating,
just
but if we don't take any.
It says here
we don't-
resolution.
Do you
There's
understand?
supposed to be a resolution, but there isn't one ready, so.
Okay.
The landfill, we didn't get the information that we needed for that one.
Okay, so it's tabled. Tandem truck is tabled.
Can't see that one down there.
Okay, 7.9, fire department report.
Okay, that one doesn't have an acceptance to which,
Doesn't have which?
I'll get you to sign this one.
Sure.
We just had to get too many out there otherwise. You wanna sign that? Pass this to Dr. Bell.
Sure.
Darryl. This can go to Darryl. And this is the fire department one, that's the one we're on, 7.9.
Moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Foster. Resolved that the Swan River Fire Department response report for the month of June 2020 shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Any questions on that report? If not, all in favor? Councillor Kushniryk?
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried. Moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that the following animal control reports shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. The Rural Animal Control Officer's report for the month of June 2020. Be it further resolved that payment for the above services shall be approved as submitted. Any questions on that?
I only have the rural one. Is there another one?
Yeah, I don't see the other one either.
There in
I
this
was
file,
gonna
there
say.
looks like there's some missing that we have to take a break to find.
Because we haven't seen the
Yeah.
urban one.
My second question on this, we had decided as a council to send the other animal control officer to Kendall for this trouble. But it looks like maybe that was never communicated to this animal control officer, so he's been over there for the same thing.
Well, if he's gone and it's fine, I'm fine with it. I just didn't want to put him in that position if he didn't want to be in that position.
But I think the other one has been there also, so we should just make sure that we're not ending up with two people going to the same place.
Maybe this is different homes.
Yeah.
There is two different
Two,
cases.
two different homes, yeah, then we're okay.
Because I don't see on here the one that was brought.
This is the rurals anyway that
This
we're
is-
doing.
Oh, yeah, this is
This is
the,
the rural.
but Kendall is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's taken care of.
well, that's good.
Okay, so did we
Further
get?
question?
Well, do we have the urban one?
You know what, we don't. I just, I'm looking at the agenda now and that urban one just came in at
That's
the last minute, so we never got it. So you have to put an X beside that one.
Okay.
This is the rural one, so it's good to go.
I just can't quite remember if the resolution said both or just the one.
No.
No, it's
just-
separate. Separate
Just
one, yeah.
rural.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. That's carried.
So the next one, 712, the Benito well, they're going ahead with the well and the pitless sump It's supposed to be, it's already approved. We don't need to do it tonight. It was just the way this agenda was set up. Financial payment to the library. We do have that one, and it's ready to go. And what I did on this one is we committed $65,000 in our budget, and I'm paying $35,000 at this point.
How much is being paid?
35 out of the 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to them and they, well, they were in, so they seemed to be okay with that.
That's how they were paid last year as well. Do we have to sign it again? I signed it. And Darryl did too. Correct or no? Well, someone's gotta be.
Yeah. Someone's gotta keep me in line.
Yeah.
Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Gade. You haven't signed it.
Oh, that wasn't me. So who's
Resolved that the
smart
Council
enough?
for the Municipality of Swan Valley West shall pay $35,000 towards the 2020 budget commitment, according to the financial budget for the Northwest Regional Library for 2020. Questions, comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
Tyler woke up.
This is the municipal road hauling.
We talked about this at the transportation meeting.
Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Foster. Whereas IMC is asking the Municipality of Swan Valley West for permission/approval to haul wood from their private land to LP Canada Limited and their own private yard as per attached map on the following routes. Private land, southwest 263734, 2 miles east on PR 488, 8 miles north on Road 158, east for 4 miles, 1 mile north, east on Highway 10, and 4 miles to LP Canada. And whereas IMC has applied to Trucking Productivity Improvement Fund Program to haul up to 62,500 kilograms on the 2 mile stretch of PR 488. And whereas the Transportation Committee brought forward a recommendation to approve the request. Therefore be it resolved that Council agrees to support said project with the condition that IMC will cover the maintenance of the used municipal roads as required and as long as all requirements set out by the TPIF program are met, and be it further resolved that the Reeve will sign a municipal letter of permission and have it forwarded to the TPIF program. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
Logging it instead of just pushing it piles.
Yes.
This is the conditional
And
use.
asking for permission not to. Sorry.
Moved by Councillor Gade, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that a public hearing shall be held on August 11th, 2020 at 7:15 p.m. for the purpose of receiving presentations from those who may be interested in regards to the request for a conditional use to allow for an accessory building prior to a residential building. Prior to?
Yeah, that's why.
Within the GD zone on the property known as 219-221 Main Street, Kenville. Be it further resolved that all necessary advertising, mailing, and postings of the notice for said hearing shall be made in accordance with the Planning Act. Questions or comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
Swan Lake.
Moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Pierrepont, whereas the Swan Lake Watershed District has prioritized to establish a stream bank located at the northeast 31, 37, 29 and Road 216 Main, 216 West, and whereas the Swan Lake Watershed District Board has discussed the project and reviewed drone videos and pictures which show that the stream bank erosion is directly adjacent to the municipal roadway, and whereas the location of the project is partially on private land and partially within the municipal roadway and is benefiting the municipal roadway, and whereas the Swan Lake Watershed District would apply for all necessary permits and will treat this project as a Swan Lake Watershed District project. Therefore be it resolved that Council agrees to support said project as well as suggested cost share of 60% by Swan Valley West and 40% by the Swan Lake Watershed, which would include in-kind services such as riprap stone, hauling of material, and shaping placement, which could likely be majorly completed with municipal equipment. Questions or comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
Swan Valley Veterinarian Service.
Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Blosha, resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West approves the payment to the Veterinary District Board for the year 2020 of $8,795.93 as listed per attached. Questions or comments on that? Not all in favor? That is carried.
Yes.
I don't have a 718, so we can mark that off. And I do have one, a second one for RISE, and that is for the 2020 funding. This one we might be able to agree on.
Moved by Councillor Gade, second by Councillor Pierrepont, whereas the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West passed a resolution on February 25th, 2020 to fund Swan Valley Regional Initiative for a Strong Economy, RISE, the 3 years 20, 21, and 22. Therefore be it resolved that Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West approves the payment to RISE for the year 2020, $33,938 as attached, as listed for attached. Questions or comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
So that does page 1. One more out there.
Yeah.
This is for general agreements.
Can you show me as stepping away?
Yeah, I was gonna scan this.
Oh, yeah.
So it is leaving the table, there it is.
I guess I should be too then. Oh.
Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. General checks number 16175 to 16222 in the amount of $191,987.93 for a grand total of $191,987.93. Any questions?
So the 16212, That's our last payment there.
16,212.
212.
16212, page 6.
How do you see that? I don't have it in front of me.
Oh,
Here, this, our last payment.
There could be one more. Yeah. They're just finishing up. They're just finishing up now, this week.
Okay, I think that was the only question I had on that one. Thanks.
Okay, no further questions, all in favor?
yeah.
Yep.
That is carried. Moved by Councillor Gade, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Payroll payments number 3, checks number 3174 to 3190 in the amount of $22,642.66 for a grand total of $22,642.66. Questions there? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
The indemnities.
Have to sign them.
Moved by Councillor Blosha, second by Councillor Foster, resolved that Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments, indemnities in the amount of $10,052 even, for a grand total of $10,052. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
You guys are close together, eh? There's a 72 quick Glens or 70. I'm just curious, trying to see who drives the farms. It's not me, that's good.
One drives that way and one drives that way, so yeah, it's pretty close.
Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Gade, resolved that Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. The Benito Fire Department payroll checks number 3291 to 3207. Should that be 3307?
Yeah, the fire department checks, which, let me just check that. They have those numbers. 32, this is 31.
Oh.
3191.
Okay, no, it's
Yeah,
got 3291.
This should be 3191 is the,
Okay, the
there's a
correction
typo.
there, the
Yep.
check numbers 3191 to 3207 in the amount of $7,051.84 for a grand total of $7,051.84. Questions on that? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Moved by Councillor Gade, second by Councillor Foster, resolved that the June 2020 financial statement for the Municipality of Swan Valley West shall be received. Questions or comments?
Want to thank James for a moment. I know it's been months in coming, but I've bugged you about it. More meetings than I can count, and it's here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the intervals that we've been holding, December 31st will be your next one.
Let's hope not.
No, thanks for the time, we got her done, that's good. We'll have the budget numbers populated within a week, so it'll be good, 80 to 90% uploaded there, so.
Okay, any further questions? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, number 9.1. Letter here, to whom it may concern. I am Joe Kolodachuk. I've noticed that the skating rink in Kenville hasn't been used for several years and is starting to look run down and is being overgrown with trees. The playground is also in some disrepair as there are weeds growing through the sand and gravel. I have been wondering if the RM would consider selling the property. If so, I have a piece of vacant property I'm willing to give for the relocation for the kids' playground. It is on the west side of Main Street on the corner of West Street and Railway Avenue. If this is a consideration, my cell number is. Thank you for your time, Joe. Has there been any thought, anyone, to divest ourselves of the Kenville skating rink, former curling rink?
I would like to see us give the public some opportunity.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing, where you wouldn't just say yes to one person without.
Oh, and certainly,
Yeah.
I'm still for tender, but
Yeah.
even before we go for tender, I think we should ask the
See what they
question
have to say
does
about it.
anybody want to step up and look after this? Because we're thinking of tendering it off. You know, here's your fair warning that we're thinking of getting rid of this thing. Does anybody want to run as a community? If not, our next step is go to tender.
And the only people that looked after it are not there anymore. And the kids are growing up, so.
Yeah, no, but.
The offer to relocate the playground is a good offer, a generous one. It's located on the proper side of Main Street as well, the new location. However, there are probably many, many hoops that would have to be jumped through before that equipment, if in fact that equipment could even be relocated and reused.
Correct.
We're very strict with playground.
And there's got some liabilities there, used equipment.
So do your due diligence out there then, start asking some residents some questions. The second letter is from the same.
Didn't Donnie, like, wasn't it at the transportation meeting that those trees, they were cut back and trees were being removed?
No,
Overgrown?
not at the skating rink because of COVID, they needed big equipment in there. Well, because of COVID, they couldn't hire the contractor with proper equipment to delimb the trees because it's three-phase power. So they needed a specialized contractor, and because of COVID, they were not able to do it. However, it is on their list to do. Trees were cut at the hall.
Oh, at the hall. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, the second request comes from the same individual. I'm inquiring to purchase a 20-foot property located at 7-2-384 Main Street, Kenville, between two properties that he owns at 223 and 227 Main Street and 219 and 221 Main Street. He would like to buy them for the assessed price, or he would like to buy the property for the assessed price of $100. If this is a consideration, please contact him at such and such number or at the house at the other number that he supplies. Thank you for your time, Joe. So as was mentioned by the bylaw enforcement officer, there is that 20-foot right-of-way that the municipality owns. Are we prepared to sell it? That's the question.
It's not a road. It's just a piece of property, it's a numbered lot, basically.
Does it go to a lane? Very often you'll have a perpendicular lane off of a street to another, to a back
There's
lane.
the two streets, but I don't think it's an actual lane through there.
Is this a street or that's a lane? That's a lane, right?
Looks like a lane,
Yeah.
so we don't have to close it first.
Just like we did with one other property that
Yeah.
is.
Same lane,
Yeah.
same.
I'm certain they can move to sell it.
Plus, when we do write the resolution to sell it for that also has to state that they pay the transfer.
All of
costs.
the costs associated, yeah.
We've done it before at another
Yeah.
location close to there, so.
But it is access to the back lane off of that street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we should look.
Now, it's funny that one was left there and one wasn't left on the next block to the east, I assume.
This is straight through, this isn't the only access.
No, I realize that, but here there was no access,
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't show it on any of the other.
And you said you'd have to close that?
No, you have to close this.
Oh, yes, yes.
And there are legal fees involved in doing that. And so that would have to also be taken care of by the purchaser. So
100
it'd be
plus. Yeah.
Zero cost to the municipality.
Not gonna do anybody else any good.
Fair amount too, isn't it?
Well,
50 years taxes.
If I remember correctly, the last one.
Because well, I checked out that we're charging $2 a year for those lots.
so,
So he's paying 50 years of taxes.
no, but if he has to pay the
Oh,
transfer
yeah,
cost,
yeah.
which is more, that's what Darryl was talking about, not the $100.
It was like.
He's talking about
in
the transfer
thousands.
cost. Well, it was, yeah, if I remember correctly, it was
at least
enough.
that. If I remember correctly, we did not bill enough for that. To cover it though. That was before us.
So if there is a consensus, we will have the office do up a resolution for the next meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
should we ask him though, is he aware of the other costs? Should we first have that discussion?
Well, definitely,
He's
that,
really-
let's let them look,
Yeah.
tell them.
Like I
Yeah,
think we're-
if he's just
it
thinking
was
that all he's
obvious.
paying is $100
Yeah.
and that's it, and then he might not want it, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna, we'll leave it as a lane if we have.
One could check with our law office here first, see what the
There will be
costs.
another one on file from
Yeah,
last year, huh?
or the
Few
year
years
before.
on up.
Just when we came in, it was already started when we came in.
It was started, but it wasn't done, it
Yeah.
had to go back, yeah.
Yeah, it might not be a good example to go on because that was kind of a convoluted affair.
So we make contact with the requester.
Well, just so that, like,
Yep,
that he knows.
Once you
that-
get the price,
right, Jim.
then you contact them and tell them. It would be that.
Because we'll have to hold a public
Yeah.
hearing.
Yeah, you'd still have to hold a public hearing to
Advertise
see
the public
if,
hearing,
yeah,
all that little incidentals.
yeah.
Advertise it?
Well, you'd have to
Yeah,
make sure that
public
everybody
hearing.
neighboring agrees with that, right?
It's not a lot,
But-
so only adjacent owners.
Right.
And
so
he's the
purchase
adjacent
it?
on both,
Oh,
well,
he owns on both
he owns on
sides?
both sides.
It'll be 100 meters in all directions, so it'll be whoever's behind it too.
Don't
Yeah, on the
think
last one, you had to have a public hearing.
Yeah,
Did we?
yeah, we did.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we definitely
Close it,
did.
for
yeah.
closing.
For closing, yeah.
All right, correspondence.
Infrastructure services.
I don't have anything as 10-1. Does anybody else?
What were they doing for us?
Does anybody have any correspondence on 10-1?
It,
Nope.
is that right? Okay, so it's just a letter from infrastructure saying that, I don't know.
Termination of services.
We didn't have any services with them.
This letter is to inform you, your agency, that as of June 30th, 2020, Manitoba Infrastructure will no longer be providing services to other departments or agencies. Moving forward, it would be to your benefit to contact private contractors to fulfill your operational needs. The department can help you make the transition by supplying a list of local contractors and their equipment if requested. If you have any questions, contact them, such and such. But in memory, I can't think of any time that we have used that.
No.
Okay, 10.2 of the minutes from the last watershed district meeting.
Is this one coming on the camera?
That's going on camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Any questions on that? Next is CN, talks about they're investing $105 million in Manitoba. You have time to look that over, any questions arising from it? Next one is from Manitoba Agriculture. Crop diagnostics, recognizing heat stress in animals, farm practice guidelines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For your information. Questions or comments arising out of it? Next one is notification from AMM that the fall convention scheduled for Winnipeg in the latter part of November will now be a one-day affair virtually.
And there's no tax service update. We didn't get that, so.
Okay.
Do you have that?
We have this, yeah, we have
Wonderful.
something. I was
You're
like,
one step ahead. Let's talk about it. Well, do you have yours? I don't have one in the file. Yeah, there it is. There's a quick and easy source.
Oh. It's there, obviously, but. I guess it wasn't produced late enough, but today there were 5 new cases of COVID, I guess, that were discovered with the testing in Manitoba today. Hadn't been for the last 13 days, but. At any rate, they're still recommending tax sale auction if any properties are to wind up in it. They're suggesting would be the middle of March 2021. So for your information.
Get these signed. These will be just signed, but we can go into the committees now.
Okay. Councillor Foster.
Yeah, it's a transportation meeting, and I guess that's it, probably.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Gade.
I was under the transportation meeting. Are there minutes still being made of those? Would it be possible to get a copy sent to me when transportation
There
minutes
should be
come out?
minutes.
'Cause I think there's probably minutes come out of that. Just to try and keep up to date on what goes on. Would be good.
I was, just to that point, it would be probably good to have some of that summarized in the Public Works report, you know, maybe on
Well, yeah, 'cause
on this agenda, if we could maybe
We'll
do
both
that.
ask a question like they discussed there. And,
Probably.
you know, probably would be good.
Well, I shouldn't say probably. I don't know.
So I have heard from numerous people about stop signs on CN crossings that have appeared in the past few days. So I did speak to Mr. Bollock about it just to get some background on who put them up, but it becomes apparent CN put them up, but we gave them the signs. So I was curious how we got to that, and if we did some looking into it, because we now have situations where we have two stop signs 20 feet apart. In some cases, it doesn't always make a lot of sense where those went. So I was trying to get my head around why we made that decision, and how it maybe got made without coming to the table.
It did come to the table.
Not this one.
2018.
2018?
Yep. If you look
Okay,
back,
so tell me, give me some history, please, because I don't really know anything about it.
if you look back, it's come to the table. There was a letter that came from CN, says this is what has to be done. This is what we have to do. So they gave us options. That was our cheapest option. And as Don said, if we would have to clear brush at certain places, we have to keep doing it. So,
So what Don told me a couple days ago was the brushes on CN property, they should be cleared out. Is that not so true then, or?
well, you can go back and look at those documents somehow if you want, but it was a resolution passed by council, and that was the.
That's a bad intersection.
Actually, Ken was here too when it actually got passed, so that means you guys were all here too, so.
Yeah, I believe that was a line of sight
Line of
issue too,
sight.
right? And
Well, we had to comply with something, and that was the way to go, and we all agreed to it, so, at a meeting.
that's right.
So, this is the second part.
But we supplied the signs, Bill, but we don't put them up. That's CN's discretion is where they go. If that answers anything.
Well, it's
Doesn't it,
It's
doesn't
created
it?
a safety issue on our roads, because we now have a double stop sign 20 feet apart that no one's gonna stop at when there's two 20 feet apart. It's not making sense anymore. So we're actually creating more issues than we're solving.
Can you see that other stop sign when you come up there, if you don't stop at that?
Well, we have a stop sign ahead sign, so yes.
Okay, nope, I'm just.
You know, like, I'm all for safety, but in this particular case, it didn't help safety, it's actually hindering it.
Well, we can always
No.
talk to them about it.
The second part to that is to be that legalistic part of if those stop signs were added to our bylaw to make them actually be stop signs, because it isn't so simple as throwing a stop sign up someplace. We have to actually ordain that stop sign as a stop sign. And if we haven't done that, I know the vast majority of the stop signs done in the last year, we did not ordain as stop signs or yield signs when we put them up. So they actually have no legal standing, which could create eventually issues if someone obeys the sign and someone doesn't. It comes back on us for not actually making them be signs. To the second part of that, I was out today to investigate the road by Terry's greenhouse, and we've installed the 70-kilometer-an-hour zone there, which I think is a great thing. We agreed to do that as council, but it's not done within the confines of the regulations. So it doesn't have the proper warning sign on the one end to warn that the speed zone is starting. It doesn't have an end marking at either end. So the entire speed zone is not compliant. We need to fix that so it is. But for it to be compliant, we also have to have a bylaw in place, which we haven't had since September, authorizing any speed zones. And at current, even Benito, the speed limit of much of Benito is now 90 kilometers an hour because we haven't passed that bylaw. So we really need to prioritize getting that bylaw to the table and getting those things defined in it so they exist. And we can sign them properly and have those speed zones and they'd actually be enforceable at that point. The other interesting thing I received was a letter from a man claiming to be a detective. The first time I was of the mind to think that the letter was spam. You get a lot of spam, but the gentleman was able to provide the amount of money he claims to have been paid which happens to line up almost precisely with the amount of money this council has paid for the investigation into the computer affair. And it concerned me greatly that the man was disclosing to me that he was hired to make me look bad and find information about me. So certainly I've taken some steps on that, but I want to bring it to council's attention that such a claim was made and sent to me in writing. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Pierrepont.
As I was sick last week, I have no committee report.
Okay, Councillor Blosha.
I had a transportation meeting, and the only other thing that I maybe wanted to mention to us is if we could, I don't know, it's not a committee report, but it's a communication. If we could send our weed inspector a sympathy card, since his wife passed recently.
All right.
Yeah, so I just thought it would be
Yeah.
something that we should do.
Good point.
And that's for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kushniryk.
Okay, I had the transportation meeting and a couple of RISE meetings, I guess with respects to interviews for the EDO position. I think from either meeting, transportation, the highlights, we had kind of already gone over the road or rehabilitation part of that road 216 where that washout or where that river is being eroded. And then there's that road 198. I think there was some discussion about some rehabilitation on that road maybe later this summer. So yeah, I think I'll let RISE make any official announcements coming from those discussions.
Okay, thank you. I too attended the RISE interview and discussion meetings, as well as the transportation meeting. Also attended bridge viewing at Crestview. Unfortunately, the engineering reports still are not available. They are having trouble getting contractors to respond with prices for repairs. But it was very revealing. Person can go and look at something, and if you don't really know what you're looking for, you don't see it. But when it's pointed out, it is very dramatic. And we have a very, very touchy issue on the one bridge north of Crestview that will have to be dealt with. And it cannot be dealt with, unfortunately, until winter time when they can use the ice to jack the bridge. But so unfortunately, any surface work can't be done prior to that point because it could be damaged or whatever when they do actually lift the bridge to do it. And the issue, in a nutshell, is that there are two beams across the piers, center piers, and the south beam is quite a bit heavier than the north beam. Nobody knows why, but there were two of the same not available, but the heavier beam, which looks to be a 1/4 inch thickness, an inch in thickness. The one to the north seems to be a 1/4 inch less in thickness, so that's 25% less strength involved if you do simple calculation on it, and it is twisted pretty badly, that labor beam. So we wait with bated breath for the assessment and the approximate costs to replace or repair the understructure of the bridge, substructure. The other point that was raised was some of the beams that run longitudinally are a bit too long, and during expansion, they actually expand and touch the abutments. Not all of them, some of them were shortened by an inch or whatever, but some have to be cut off an inch, so. That's not as critical as the other. And that's my report. Mr. Webb, you have something?
Yeah, I attended the transportation. I went and reviewed the bridges with the engineers. Was fortunate to get out there. It was good timing, and did learn lots from them. Been working with OSS. Been working with utilities at Benito, as well as the landfill for any of those updates that we need to do with them, plus many other smaller projects. I'll get this.
Thank you.
So just a different one, that's all.
Yeah.
Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Gade, resolved that we do hereby accept the following verbal reports regarding council committees and communications. Councillor Kushniryk, Transportation Rise meeting for EDO, Road 198 repair. Councillor Blosha, Transportation meeting, weed inspector sympathy card requested. Councillor Pierrepont, no report. Councillor Gade, stop signs and CN crossing, 70 speed on Greenhouse Road. Bylaw needed for signs plus speed. Glen Foster, Councillor Foster, pardon me, Transportation. Myself, Rise, EDO interviews, Transportation, Bridge review. No report coming yet. ACAO, FO, Transportation, Bridge review, OSS, Utilities, and Landfill. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, that brings us to the end of our open part of the meeting. We will be going in camera, so we will take a 10-minute break. Reconvene at
Did anybody want to say
8:51 or 2. Pardon?
We have a thing, there's 5 minutes or something, if somebody wanted to say something.
Oh, we did, yes. Anyone via telephone or in attendance like to ask a question?
Yes, Reeve, Galloway. Once again, I thank you for allowing me to participate. I have a quick question. I know back in 2002, 2003, there was a bylaw regarding dogs roaming at large, but Kenville seems to be, from all the years I've participated in meetings, an ongoing situation. Does the bylaw not apply to them as well?
It most certainly does. The animal control officer has been involved.
Okay.
Yeah,
And thank you very much.
not a problem. Thank you for the question. There being no further questions, we'll take the break.
Tyler.
Okay, moved by Councillor Gade, second by Councillor Foster, resolved that council agrees to accept Spruce Country Computers quote for the network upgrades as specified with small changes to equipment brand for $3,065. Also to have SCC rework network wiring as required for additional costs. Questions, comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Gade, resolved that we award the construction of sidewalks in the LUD of Benito to MH Construction for the sum of $5,070.71 plus GST. Questions or comments there? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, second by Councillor Blosha, resolved that Council of Swan Valley West does hereby agree to have C&B Sterling Enterprises Limited do the paving work on Railway Avenue in Benito for the quoted price of $6,500 plus GST. Questions there? Not all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
Same street. Same street.
I never put mine down.
Street wasn't on there, but, I think it's in the request or whatever. Moved by Councillor Gade, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that council agree to accept Spruce Country Computers quote for the laptop as specified in the quote for $1,170. Council agrees to purchase iPad Airs as specified for $849. Should have each behind.
Yes. Plus GST. Plus tax, I guess, because it'd be more than just GST.
Oh,
Plus tax.
yeah. Plus taxes.
We're gonna get out of here before 11, anyway.
You might be sitting on the couch by then.
I don't know, I drive a Chevy.
Not, if he's driving a Chevy, he won't make it home.
Maybe you guys want to initial that, just the changes that I made. If you would.
Okay, well, that gives me something to work with. That's
We
good.
have a,
Jeremy.
You need that, eh?
okay, we added each plus taxes for both the laptop and the iPads. Questions? Not? All in favor?
Yes.
It's carried. Okay, anything further from anyone?
I have a couple things to tell you after.
Okay,
Don't be quiet, Council.
okay. This is notice of motion to review or reverse. This is for tax sale dates. I think this is the, I think this has to be done because we're gonna move it to March, and right now it's in October. So that's the original one.
Okay, it was moved by Councillor Blosha and seconded by Councillor Pierrepont, but I don't think that those two specifically have to be. Who wants to sign it? That doesn't get voted on.
No, it's just
A notice.
notice of nothing. Yeah.
It's the 14th, correct?
An hour and 40 minutes away from the 15th. This doesn't.
And what Bill and I agreed that, Bill
I
Gade,
forget.
is that we would get together with the
A bunch of people.
Power,
Municipal affairs, at least.
municipal affairs, yeah, and talk about the in-camera stuff being shared outside, so we both have the same story from the same person. And we'll research that a little bit, because right now it's nice to keep
That's all I need,
stuff, you know, what we talked about in camera.
Yeah.
Well, his version and my version are two.
Yeah, and not that we're trying to hide anything, but it's just that it,
No, and
it-
we've argued that before.
yeah,
too,
and so we just want to get to the bottom of that, just, that, we opened the meeting with that, we just want to, you know, bring that forward.
Okay, this is a notice of motion to review and or reverse a decision of council. I, Councillor Blosha, do hereby give written notice that I will at the next regular meeting of council introduce a motion to reconsider resolution number 13 dated January 14th, 2020 regarding the changing of the tax sale date for 2020 due to temporary suspension by the province. It's dated July 14th, 2020, and Councillor Blosha has signed it. The Municipal Act, Section 139, Sub 1, provides as follows. A council may not reconsider or reverse a decision within 1 year after it is made unless, at the same meeting at which a decision is made, all the members who voted are present, or a member gives written notice to the council from at least one regular meeting to the next regular meeting of a proposal to review and reverse a decision. And the resolution was with respect to holding the tax sale. Okay, anything further? If not, moved by Councillor Foster, second by Councillor Pierrepont, resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 10:23 p.m. Be it further resolved, the next regular meeting of council will be held on July 28th at 7 p.m. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Thank you all.